So I'm gonna go ahead and let Katrina Bentley, LICSW, and Tenessa Shepherd, LICSW, come off mic and just take it away. And if you guys, I said this in the email and in the Facebook group, if you have met either one of them individually, they are a whole experience on it of themselves. But together they are magic. And I'm just so honored that they both decided to come back at the same time. So um Katrina and Tenessa, it's on you guys.
Gotta make sure. Can y'all hear me? Okay, cool. Hey everybody, it's good to be back, especially on these terms, because I was in shambles almost last time, but it's good to be back. And I have any questions y'all have, just come off mute. It's real informal, but I did take my test again on the 20th of last month. I took it in Montgomery at Pearson, and I like that so much better than, I think it was PSI, the one we took it at last time. I just like Pearson so much better. It's just it's just professional to me. But I like it. My experience was so much better. I took it around the same exact time. And I told y'all last time that I used TDC, which is the Therapist Development Center. And because last time I failed, my baby in here, y'all, she gonna do her thing. But last time I failed by 1 point. And so I didn't want to say hey. Just say hey and go sit down. And I didn't want to try to like reinvent the whole wheel, because I was like, dang, I failed by 1 point. So I got to be like in the right, I'm in the room. So I didn't go back and change much. I just brushed up on what I was doing. So I stayed using TDC, and I scheduled my tests out 30 days in advance. And then I studied for 30 days. And so what I mean by that is like every single day I did something. The weekends were really like where I hit it hard. But like through the week, I do work full time. So I would do maybe like 30 minutes or something. And then in the beginning, the code of ethics, y'all know we stress that 24/7, but the code of ethics is really what I made sure I knew, like back and front. Like I did that over and over again. And then DSM, I started with that because I felt like they were the most like bulky parts of the test. And then I know a lot of people don't like to study like the day before or the day of. I have to, because I forget stuff so quick. So like things like research questions, those defense mechanisms, I studied them like the day before, because it was something that I could hold on to just enough to take the test, and then it'll go away. So that's pretty much what I did. This time around, I was really more vocal, because like after you fail your test, you have a lot of shame attached to that sometimes. And I didn't want to tell nobody when I was taking it again. But I have a baby. I'm a single mom, and I need help. So I had to open my mouth, and I had to tell my sister, like, hey, can y'all get the baby? They got the baby like every weekend. The night before the test, she stayed with my sister. So this time around, I really was trying to like break away from the shame, because it's an accomplishment itself being able to register and take the test. That's an accomplishment in itself. So, I was like, you good. So I went ahead and did all that. And I feel like it made a world of difference this time. I was more relaxed, and I just really I'm not going to look at this test like it's an enemy. I'm looking at it like, this is just a part of like the process that I'm on. So, I took the test, I passed, cool. And then I don't think none of you guys were in the vision board, but Arielle was in there, and she had passed her clinical exam, and she was like, now I'm like, what's next? And I swear, like, I passed the test now, and I'm just like, what's next? Like, what's next? And y'all don't really know my personality, but the old me, I would have been on Indeed immediately. I would have had a new job by. I passed the test on Wednesday, Friday morning, I'll be starting a new job. Like, no lie, because I already would have had the job lined up. So like now I'm just like, you know, what do I want to do? Do I want to stay here? Do I want to do that? So, and then, you know, being a mom, I got more responsibility now. So I'm like, I can't be as impulsive as I usually am. But I
You
work
can.
right, I can, because Tenessa, she the blueprint. I work at Humana. I've been working for Humana for almost 3 years now. That's the longest I've ever been employed at an employer. Work remote, and they don't require my LC. So they're not gonna give me any more money. They're just basically like, oh yay, congratulations, girl. But anyway, and so, you know, for me, I'm comfortable here, but like getting your clinical license is like one of the highest achievement, you know, in the social work, your social work career. So it's just like, do I really want to stay somewhere that don't recognize my hard work, like what I did? Like, do y'all know what this test means? So I don't know, but I'm really thinking hard on it. Like, I feel like I just gotta go somewhere that requires it, because, you know, a couple weeks ago, I couldn't even apply to something that said you need to have your independent license or you need to have your clinical license. I couldn't even apply. So it's just like the fact that I do have it, I don't know. They're gonna have to talk to me differently. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want some more money and I want some more flexibility, you know, but right now I am comfortable at my job, but I don't know. What y'all think? What y'all think? Like, what y'all think? Somebody said put some respect on your exactly. Ariel said, her mom said, get it, girl. Yeah, that's how I feel though. I do feel like, all jokes aside, I do feel like, you know, I've earned this title and I want to be compensated for it. So for humanity to be like, you know, we don't require that, and you're not saying you're gonna give me some money for getting it, then I'm just like, yeah. But we get a bonus every year at Humana. You have to be with Humana until after March to get the bonus. And last year our bonus was like, I think it was like $3,500 I got. I think it was $3,500. I want my, they said we at 100% this year. So I really want to stay until after March to get my bonus, because I don't work for that bonus. So I don't think I will leave Humana until after I get my bonus. That's what I'm thinking. And then that'll give God enough time to move and I can see what's out there. So I'm gonna calm down, I ain't gonna be impulsive. So that's my plan. I'm gonna stay at Humana until the beginning of next year, and then after that, I will start looking at other opportunities that will probably compensate. Well, that will compensate me more. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off.
Do they have anything at Humana, if you know, that requires that you can transition to, or do you like, what do you do at Humana? What do you do? You know,
So I'm a behavior health care manager. So we call members who, whether they PCP or the nurses or they done did in-home wellness assessment, is basically done identify that they have some kind of emotional barrier. So we call them to just do an assessment to see exactly what's going on. If they want to get a counselor or a psychiatrist, we'll find them one that's in network. So that's pretty much all I do. But 30 minutes every day, I get in a queue, and it's a crisis queue. So we do have members who, you know, they may be suicidal or homicidal. And so we'll provide in the meantime support, but we'll still get them connected to a long-term provider. Um, Humana has Centerwell, which is like another division of Humana. They have Centerwell, and they do have positions that do I think it's like therapy or something like that, but they do require the LC. I'm just not sure if I want to continue doing that with them. So I have looked into that. They do encourage you to apply for different jobs within the company. They have like a whole website and a team dedicated to that. So I do like that. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'll keep y'all posted.
I was gonna say, well, one, obviously, congratulations. That's so freaking awesome.
Thank
And then
you.
two, I definitely get you wanting to stay until March because you have worked so hard for that bonus, and we're already like so close to the end of the year. So it's literally just a
Mhm.
couple more months that you'd have to be waiting for that bonus and then start looking. But I wonder, secondly, if maybe you can start looking and seeing like what you could apply to or do or stuff like that, and then try to kind of counter offer your current pay. You could, even, I
That's
mean, I don't
fair.
know if line, I'm not telling, I don't, I guess you, however you feel it's best for you, but I wonder if you can be like, well, I'm getting offered this, just to see like what their
Yeah,
reaction is, to see like, oh well, we want to, pay you more because we want you to stay, even if you're not actually getting offers, just to kind of
yeah.
fill them out.
Yeah, I definitely gotta listen to what you're saying there, because you did that Let's Talk Money. So I always go back to that because I'm like, no, we gotta talk about the money. So yes, you're right. I like that. Just kind of seeing what is the pay and what they're paying for, like the LC and things like that. So I do like that because I know like CVS, United Health, Cigna, they're all like Humana competitors. So I do know that they probably have some of those positions. So I would be curious to see what they're paying.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've done something similar like that in the past where I wasn't necessarily applying, but I was like looking at
Mhm.
different jobs and seeing how much they were paying compared to how much I was being paid. And then I brought it up that in that sense,
Okay.
and then was able to get a raise like that. Um, or try to work something else in, whether it's like, extra holidays or whatever, but just try to definitely
Right.
advocate for yourself.
No, I like that. Thank you. I'm gonna take that advice. I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna take the advice and I'm gonna keep y'all posted.
Is it my turn or y'all still got questions for Katrina? Because I ain't got that long of a story. So, y'all ready? Okay, let's go. So, in a nutshell, the last time I saw all of you all, I knew I was gonna take my test. I just didn't tell y'all that because it wasn't none of y'all business. Um, the first time I took it, of course, my dad got sick, and I thought I was gonna be superhuman and take it anyway and pass it. I didn't. So when I came back on with Katrina when she did her presentation, like I literally knew that day when I was gonna take my test over. I just was sitting on it. For the most part, I didn't study, y'all. I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna lie. I was like, girl, if you study long, you're gonna study wrong. Put that shit down. We're not doing no more of that. So what I did do was go back like old school. I was thinking like, how do you retain information the right way for yourself? That's the biggest thing. What is your study plan? So I went all the way back to how I studied in undergrad. And I knew that once I got my Don Epgar book. I actually used Chat GPT to print out a study guide, and I like answered nothing but the questions that study guide had. So I went back over Erickson. I made notes. I literally did it like I was studying for one of my biology classes. I didn't do nothing more, nothing less. I think I probably started studying that material maybe 2 months before, but it was spotty. It was like, you know what? I feel like reading today. Then I go a week, maybe 2 weeks. I think I'll read this today because I knew the information. You know the information. So what am I keep studying the same stuff over and over and then I forget something? So day of, I just I'm always traveling, so they thought I was just going to a training. I went and took my test, and my daddy was the first person I called because I passed. So after that, I just felt relief. My mindset has changed completely. And I think because it's just been such a burden lifting off me that I don't even want to do like private practice no more. I'm good at the job I got, but of course I'm at the VA. And even when it was getting kind of sketchy, I was like, man, I'm kind of protected, so I ain't going nowhere. But I don't want to do like all that stuff that we talked about on vision boards. Like I think I've checked everything off that I needed to do in this lifetime. Like, I got my LC. Of course, I'm going to do the supervision. Of course, I'm going to get a PIP, but I don't have to be independent. I like my job. I'm in mental health. I love mental health, so I'm good where I'm at. The only thing I want to do, honestly, is maybe elevate in the facility that I'm in. So that would look like being a supervisor. And then if, whatever's in the universe for me, maybe like a deputy chief of staff or chief of staff. But I'm good, y'all. Like, I'm good. I'm not complacent, because y'all know I don't like to be complacent, but I'm good to the point where I can breathe and I can live. So I think that's the biggest adjustment of having that LC versus trying to anticipate when you're going to take it. When you do fail, when you're going to take it over. Then if you don't have a job that you like, you're looking for more jobs. And with the economy and the way things going now, it's kind of hard out there. So I think for the most part, I'm going to stay where I'm at for the first time ever. I haven't even looked at no enhancement jobs at the VA. I'm just cooling under the radar because I don't want nobody looking at my name and thinking something else. But I don't really have to apply for anything because my supervisor and my chief of staff told, when you got people in your field, they'll move you where you need to be. So I'm just waiting on my time for the job to come across, the internet so I can apply for it. I ain't doing nothing else. And y'all know I move in a heartbeat.
I had a
I was supposed to have another job today. I took the test. So I'm good, y'all. Finally, I'm good. Y'all ain't got to worry about me. That test is done. Thank you. That is major for me. Because like I said, what do you do at the VA? I am a substance use disorder treatment social worker. So for the most part, Ariel, I do individual therapy with, of course, substance use veterans. I do some mental health veterans, like if they have depression or anxiety. I run PTSD groups. I use the STAIR model. And I also do group therapy with veterans that come in for substance use disorders. And that's really all that I do right now. And that's a lot, especially with individual therapy and mental health. Every session I had a new job. That resume looks lovely, absolutely. But I think I'm good now because I done did everything except what, maybe school social work, or maybe more, is like micro social work. I haven't done like administrative stuff, but y'all know if I do that, I'm gonna get bored. So I need to be moving. And I do a lot of moving where I'm at. So I think I'm good. Like, for real. I do want to wait till my daughter graduates, my youngest daughter, and I might consider travel social work. But by that time, I'll be like 100 years old. So I might just, I ain't gonna be at the VA. But I think I want to transition in something like less stressful. So I am considering like retiring as a school social worker. Just going back to kids, but still keeping that mental health piece, because right now it's a lot of intense therapy and it can become draining, but I'm good. I like it. I like mental health. When you like what you do, it's easy to do it. So that's me in a nutshell, y'all.
I had a question about did you notice like you said you studied differently, but did you notice a difference in the actual test from the first time you took it to the second time, or is it mainly you pulling the information out of yourself?
It was me pulling the information. And I don't know, for me, I felt like it might have been easier this time, but I think it might have been just my mental health and my mental space that I was in to actually see it for what it was and not have all that pressure on me. And then, like I said, my dad was sick, so I probably wasn't even reading the question correctly. But this time, it wasn't nothing going on. I feel like it might have been the same material. I had a lot of, ironically, I had a lot of substance use this time. I don't know if that was just put in the universe for me to see that, because I know it. I had a lot of ethics, especially when it comes to like, payments for service, termination, What else did I see a lot of? I had a lot of Erickson, of course. You see Erickson in almost every question. I really didn't see, I didn't have no diagnosis, to be honest with you. I did have 2 medications, but I knew them because we give those to my veterans at the VA. I didn't see too many defense mechanisms. Most of my questions circled around like teenagers and kids for some odd reason. I did see a lot of school social work. Some community, but it was more on that supervision level, like, you know, you're doing an analysis. I might have had one of those where you do an evaluation. I did have a validity question and I knew it, but I low-key guessed it because I really didn't study that, because I mean, it's validity. That ain't the hard stuff. But it was really the same thing, to be honest with you, Krista. I don't think it was different. I think it was just me just pulling the information out and actually having the confidence and just telling myself over and over again, you know this information. I flagged 20 questions and I didn't change none of them. I was like, what you changing that for? You know this information, stay right there. So, I mean, I felt like it was the same, but at the same time, I was in a different headspace.
They also changed where we get those breaks now. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but that was a game changer for me, I felt like. So you take your first 85 questions and then the computer's gonna stop. You're gonna automatically get a 10-minute break. Like, it don't take away from your time or none of that. And I had me a snack. I went to the bathroom and the ladies, they were so sweet. They were like, come back, you know the time. Maybe I gotta go to the bathroom. I was stretching on the way to the hallway. I'm like, I can do this. I'm smart. I know the answers. Got you in the room with me. Like, I was just hyping myself up. And then, you know, once you go back, you start the other 85 questions, and it do start from 1 to 85 again. Cause I was like, is it gonna start from, 86 until, but it starts from, you get 1 through 85, a 10-minute break, and then 1 through 85, and then you're done. You do get pass or fail on the screen. When you go get your report, you're not gonna have your score or anything on it. But I will say maybe like 10 minutes after you pass the test or after you take the test, you're gonna get an email with your score. So you'll get to see what you did. Did you get that too, Tenessa?
Actually didn't get nothing. My score went to my email. Like, I saw pass on the screen and I don't remember getting no paperwork from them.
No, she's right. You don't get no paper. You don't get no paper. Yeah. And you're gonna get an email, maybe like it takes like 10, it was probably like 10 minutes after I was on the interstate and they sent me the email and told me that I had passed. I do feel like the test was a lot easier for me this time around, but Tenessa just had a really good point. Maybe I was just more relaxed and just in a better state of mind. But to me, it did seem like it was easy. I was like, God, did you make this test for me? Like, cause I was eating them questions up.
Did
I
you
had
have
a
to
lot.
take it? I'm sorry.
Huh?
Did you have to take your photo?
Yes. And it's like when you go to the bathroom.
Your handprint.
When you go to the bathroom, it go put your picture on the screen. It was like a mug shot. Cause I'm like, at this point when I came in, I'm ready for what? Like I can't help a business. My hair was it is what it is. I came here, I had a headband on my head. She was like, can you take the headband off? I'm like, baby, I take whatever.
I had to lift my wig up.
I'm here to pass the test. I ain't here to do nothing about no pictures. So took the headband off, took the picture. I ain't know it was gonna be on the screen. I look like a mug shot when I came back in the room. I'm like, but yeah, and you do that every single time. So keep that in mind when you do take your 10-minute break. When you come back, you do have to get checked back in. So they're gonna search you. You're gonna do your handprints again. They're gonna check your ID. So that do take a little time, but I was able to eat, stretch, go to the bathroom, get checked back in. And I still had like a minute or so left. So just keep that in mind too. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I do have a question if that's I didn't want to interrupt you, Katrina. I didn't know if you were done or not.
on, go. Y'all can come
Okay.
in as y'all feel like.
Okay.
If anything pop up, just say
Well,
it.
I was gonna ask Tenessa specifically because she brought up that she did like a study guide on GBT and stuff like that. And I was scrolling through, I think it might have been like Social Workers of Alabama or some sort of group that I'm on that someone else had mentioned that they have used that as a study material. What exactly, I don't have it, but I mean, I'm sure I could just download it or something. What exactly did you ask? Like, what questions
Oh,
did you ask for it so that
literally,
it can give you a study guide? Like,
literally
what were you
that.
asking for it to form for you?
Literally a study guide to pass this LICSW. That's all I typed in there. And then
Oh,
it
okay.
calculated and it gave me like certain things. It
Yeah, I
gave
did
me
that too.
Okay.
It gave me all this stuff that I thought was might have been key pieces. So I just went in there and just read that stuff. I didn't do nothing more, nothing less. Whatever was on that paper,
Okay.
I read it. But I did add object theory, object relations theory, because I think that's one of the questions I tripped on the last time because I had forgotten it completely. Like it didn't even cross my mind what it was about. And so when I read it this time, I was like, duh. But it completely just didn't register to me the first time I took it. But other than that, the community questions, the supervision questions. Now, honestly, some stuff I kind of remembered on my own, so I wrote it down so I can rewrite it. The way I study, I have to read the stuff and I have to write it in my own handwriting.
Me too. Me too.
So I can remember it. So I did a lot of that. Like I had a whole notebook that I threw away because as soon as I passed that test, I put all that shit in the trash can. Everything gone. I don't even want it in a house.
Katrina, did you also like did you put any specific things on ChatGPT like that you wanted it to test you on, or was it kind of like a Tenessa?
So I did. Can you help me? My prompt was, can you create me a study guide using TDC? Because that's what I was using, TDC, the Therapist Development Center. And they did, but I didn't follow it. Because I felt like I was getting too much inside of my head, and I kept going back to the one point that I failed. And I'm like, no, don't reinvent the wheel. Whatever you were doing, it was working. Just be a little bit more consistent. So I did do that, and I think it's really helpful. It's a great resource for real. So I do encourage you to use it, especially, taking the test. But once I just was like, I'm not finna go back and redo all that. I was kind of like Tenessa, like, I know this stuff. I'm not finna do that. Yes.
I have one more thing too, because I don't want to take up like a bunch of time. I want other people to speak as well. But so I took the exam and I failed by 4 points. And I keep bringing it up and I'm like, do I retake it this year? So it's on my board, like on my vision board to take my exam and pass this year, along with baby number 2 and like a bunch of other stuff. So I got baby number 2 down. I haven't announced it to you guys yet, but I do have baby 2 on the way. I'm due supposedly.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's not about me. It's about you guys. So I'm so proud of y'all. But
This
thank
is
you.
our community, girl. What you
Thank
talking
you.
about?
I I'm due December 6th, but this is my second baby, and I don't see myself going past November. Like genuinely, like she's already head down.
Oh.
I'm 28 weeks. She's already head down. She's been head down for 20 since she was 20 weeks, and things are just stretching and happening, and I think I'm gonna dilate fast and stuff. So my thing is that I did the 90-day waiver. So I kind of want advice from all of you guys, Renita and everyone. I did the 90-day waiver. They gave me the same expiration date for, I think like my expiration date's like November 30th or so. So that's like cutting it really close to being like close to my due date, or if it comes before, if she comes before and stuff like that. And I don't know if, and I was talking to my husband about it earlier because I texted him while I was at work. And I don't know if I can ask the board for an extension of that expiration date, or if I have to like resubmit like the $75 or whatever for it. So I'm not sure if you might know that, Renita. And then secondly, I don't know. I'm like so in my head. Like he said I'm having performance anxiety. I call it PTSD, but he's like, no, you don't have that. It's performance anxiety. But I'm just so scared to like take the exam again and see failed on the screen. Like I
That
can't,
was
like,
me. That was me.
like
I
I
had
like even
nightmares.
right now saying it out loud, like my hands like are sweaty. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how to get myself. And I've noticed with both of you guys that have shared, you guys are talking about how you were in a different mindset. You had a whole different headspace.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't want that to like affect me.
So I took a year off when I failed it the first time. I took a whole year off. I repaid
Yeah.
my money because I didn't care. At this point, I'm not gonna rush to do it. So I took like a year off to take that test. So yeah, I had to pay the board again. You know, they already had my paperwork. They gave me my acceptance. So I was gonna be able to, I think it was in May when it was on.
She breaking
You
up a
know
little
what?
bit.
Oh, wait.
You
Can
broke up
y'all
a
hear
little
me now?
bit.
Because my
Back up.
internet is acting crazy.
Yeah,
Y'all
back.
can hear me?
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
back up a little
See?
bit because you had got cut off. We can hear you now.
Let me see. I knew it was gonna do that.
Vanessa, when you're talking, turn your camera off because we'll be able to hear you.
Can you
You
hear
won't
me
pick
now?
up. Yeah. Can you hear me say, Tenessa, when you're talking, turn your camera off and then it won't break up?
Can
Okay,
y'all hear
go.
me better now?
Yes. Go.
Yeah.
That's crazy work right there. But I literally took that year off knowing that I had to change my mindset. I didn't care about what anybody said, what anybody thought, because I literally said I did not want anything to be going on, like nothing. So I made sure none of my kids' birthdays was coming up. It was summertime, so they weren't in school. I didn't have to think about taking them nowhere. I said, okay, this is the time I'm gonna take it. And then, you know, I used a little astrology because I was gonna take it in Cancer season, which is a water sign. I was like, I'm not taking it no other time, but in my water sign. So I scheduled it right like that. And I mean, I just, like I said, a better headspace. I took a year off. So, I mean, maybe if you feel like, you know, with your baby coming, and I already had 2 kids, so I already know what that is. It might be that you might have to just say, hey, I need to take this time, have this baby, then take it, because rushing you and you having this anxiety, and even you talking about it now and expressing and feeling that type of way, and then I wouldn't even chance that. And that's just me, honestly. I wouldn't chance it. I would take
Yeah,
the time.
I agree. I was 8 months postpartum when I took my test the first time. And when I failed by one point, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get the waiver. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna take it in like 3 weeks. And then I just realized like life is life. And like I had other things that I had to prioritize. And I had to get myself in the space, like my whole body, my whole hormones and all that was out of whack. So I had to, I didn't, you know, I got the waiver, but I didn't take my test again till like 8 months later. So I was hitting close to another year. And sometimes it does take time to get in that space. One day it just hit me and I was just like, I'm ready to take my test. And I scheduled it and then I started studying. So I think you need to just start listening to yourself and just trusting yourself. The fear of failing, it stuck with me every single day up until the minute I took the test. I had nightmares about it. I'll be talking to somebody and I'm zoned out thinking like, okay, y'all. I'll be thinking like, you know, I'm a fail. So what you're feeling is real, but just give yourself some grace and just put yourself, you know, put yourself first and prioritize your family and your baby. This test is not a marathon. You can take as much time as you need, and 4 points lets me know that you know what you're testing on. So it's probably just inside your head. You was in your head, and so just don't put no pressure on yourself. That's all I can say. Don't put pressure on yourself.
I agree with all that. Like every single thing she said. And you see, it took me a year, it took her 8 months. Like, it's time. Like, you finna have a whole baby. That's gonna change your again. You gotta think about
Your
postpartum.
brain already changing, and this girl don't
Right.
like.
So y'all
No,
gotta think about
no.
y'all whole livelihood when y'all take this test, because your mindset is definitely gonna change. And it is to the point where if you fail, that minute that you press that button, it's like, okay. I mean, it is what it is at this point. I knew, and I'm just gonna tell y'all this: if I had failed this time, I wasn't taking it no more. I just told myself, you know what? I'm gonna be an LMSW for the rest of my life, because I know some old ladies at the VA and they just LGs, and they making some nice little money in their little seat. I was done with it. I was like, that's it. But you know, I had my little spiritual journey, and I put my little rocks together up there. Y'all can't see them. That ain't none of y'all business either. But I took my test. So I feel, I feel better. I feel like, I know what I know. It boosts my confidence, of course. But I had to be in a different mindset because I knew even after me feeling that time, and y'all know how I am about myself and how I am a perfectionist, I was disgusted with myself. Like, what you mean you fail? Like, are you serious? It's you and you failed a test? So
Did you pass your LM on the first time?
I did.
Exactly. So, and if I don't know if you did, Anel, you passed your exactly. So when that happened to me, I was like, "Not I'm done." I'm like, "What? No, I failed because I don't fail." Schoolwork in the MSW program, schoolwork comes pretty easily. I had good grades all the way through. I don't struggle really with schoolwork, so I'm like,
Right.
"Done."
I
So
just knew it was something wrong.
exactly. So it's a punch in the gut. It is. It's a punch in the gut. But I'm like, man, we came this far. We done seen Tamika pass, Ariel. Like
Right.
we got evidence that we can pass this test. These are people that sat in the same camera looking. You know what I'm saying? So don't give up on yourself. So don't give up.
I want to jump in just for a second. And it all started with Ariel. And I'm so glad she's here and her mama is here tonight. But one of the things I used to say to you guys, and Tenessa and Katrina both have reiterated it, but after you get to LC, what have I said? Y'all, just hold on. Wait a minute. And now what you have seen from Katrina and Tenessa, Ariel, is after they get the LC, have any of them moved on to another job yet? And so here we are putting all this pressure on ourselves, and then you take the test and you wake up and you're still in the same place anyway. So then it's like, why are you putting so much pressure on yourself to just be where you're at, right? Because one of the things that I love that Tanessa just said, I was 10 years postmasters before I got my LGSW. 10 years. And then I got my LC 2 years after that. But you couldn't tell me where I'm sitting now that it took me 10 years before I even took the first exam. The money I make, the position I'm in, the places I could go and people I could be, you would not even know that it took 10 years for me to take that first test. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be exactly where we're supposed to be. And Anel, darling, you got a new baby coming. I'm just like, oh my God, we got another supervision baby coming. And I love that you announced it with us tonight. And I want to just say, if I could do my 26-year career all over again, I would prioritize my children. I think I say that to y'all all the time. If I could, knowing what I know now, I would prioritize my baby. This is going to happen. The clinical, the passing, the letters behind your name is going to happen. You only get to have your second baby once. You only get to enjoy being pregnant a second time once. And even just the way you're saying her head is already done, she's ready to already come. I felt the stress and the angst behind all of that. And I'm just like, babe, this test is gonna be here. Promise you. Ariel, Tenessa, and Katrina all are at the same places and are doing, the same type of social work they were doing when they were sitting in behind these cameras. Enjoy motherhood. Enjoy being a mama for the second time. Prioritize, whether it's fur babies or human babies, whatever your love is, prioritize that. And this is going to be here now. And Ariel, if you want to pipe in, because it all started with you, because I was saying it, but until Ariel said it, I was like, they don't believe me. After you get the clinical, you just want to be like, all right, I'm just going to chill for a minute. But I want to also add to with Katrina and Tenessa and with Aria. And Aria, if you want to pipe in, we would love to hear from you as well. Y'all, we got 3 clinical social workers on the call tonight that are goddesses. Come on through. But don't be so quick to think you got to get your clinical because you're going to go do this next thing. Because the thing is, just like we said with the 8 goddesses who passed this summer, that's very rare because Alabama does not have a dense population of clinical social workers. So there's going to be people coming out the woodwork wanting to get you because their organization or agency needs those letters to do whatever it is the next thing they're going to do. But you pausing and saying, okay, this is why I wanted to go to this direction, or I want to do this thing, or why do you want to get your clinical? Because it's the next thing you're supposed to do. Who says? Tenessa just told us there's a bunch of LGs working at the VA making 6 figures. Promise you they're making 6 figures. So you find out, why do you even want this? Remember that, so that when those agencies and organizations come out of the woodwork, you can be really clear about, that's the direction I want to go, not because you're being forced to do something different. Ariel, do you want to jump in? Or she's still with
Okay.
us?
I'm I'm here, y'all. Yeah, y'all know how I was. I'm the type, I always set goals for myself, and I knew I wanted to take my test like right away. And I did it, but I because at that time I was working with Alexis, and she used to always ask me, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, "I really don't feel." It's like a relief that comes over you, but I believe even before I took the test, we talked about that in the vision board group, Anel, how we had accomplished so much. And I'm like, okay, that was not the last thing that I wanted to accomplish, but I'm like, where do I go from here? And, I've always talked about higher education, politics, just all this stuff. But it's like, I wanted this year to rest. And that's what I've done. And it's been so hard for me. Like, I called you crying that night after that incident, Renita, but everything will work out. Like, I get so excited when I see different people have passed in this group. So I mean, I can't really tell you what to do, Anel. I feel like you're gonna make the right choice, whatever you do, but it's going to work out, and it's not the end of the world. Thankfully, I didn't fail the clinical license, but I failed multiple times with the LMSW. So I understand. And I was the same way before I took the test. I'm like, if I fail, I fail, but I'm not going to fail. Because I remember Tamika's speech after she passed. She was like, she cut out all negativity, and there was a girl who's anxious going into the test, and she was like, no, you're not going to rub that on me. And I just thought about that. I think I drove 90 minutes to take my test, and I just thought about that the whole time. I didn't tell a lot of people, but I was just like, no, I'm not going to fail. And like, we didn't get the breaks like Katrina had, but I took my own break when I started getting overwhelmed and anxious, and I went to the bathroom, and I was just like, started saying my affirmations. Every time I got nervous during the test, I wrote my affirmations down. And I don't know if I told y'all.
Machine
What machine?
that you got in the water there.
Yeah, I'll tell mama. See, my mama's telling me what to say. so yeah, I think I told y'all about how I had watched Grey's Anatomy a few months before. And when I went to the bathroom, I stood like a superhero because that girl had she had a procedure, and it was a tough procedure. And she was like, when you stand like a superhero, it builds your confidence. And so I did that before the test and during the test. And so the machine thing my mom is talking about, I did before my last time I took the LMSW and the clinical exam. I did float therapy, where you literally float in Epsom salt, and it just relaxes you. And I never smoked marijuana. I hope this might be recorded, but I went into both exams relax, like I did something. And I think that just helps you when you have high anxiety. And I suggest that, because leading up to that exam, I was just stressed out. And then the night before, I was just like, look, whatever, So Anel, that might be, well, I don't know if you can probably do it being pregnant. I don't know. But yeah, that's something to consider. But just always know that I'm here. We're all here for you. So we'll support you with whatever you choose.
Thank you guys. That honestly, like, I want to cry, and I'm also hormonal, but I really do want to cry just because, like, I've been beating myself up for it because I took it. So this, if when I do take it again, it's going to be my third and final time. So the first time I took it, it was with the PSI, like you were mentioning, Katrina, and I had an awful experience. They didn't have what I needed, but for some reason I thought, oh, I could still take it and it'll be fine. And I didn't. And the whole time it was like rowdy, and that kept messing up with me. And at that time I had failed it by 8 points. And so the second time I was in a better headspace. I felt more prepared. And then when I saw the screen and it said fail, I was so confused because I was like, I literally, like, I thought I had passed it, but I got better by like 4 points. And so I think the pressure I have right now is that I have the baby coming, and then it's just like I feel like I have to get this done. But like everyone has said, and like Renita reminded me, like nothing's gonna change because I'm still gonna be doing PRN stuff, even if I do pass. So that's true. And I was telling my husband, I was like, my brain is just very foggy, even at work. Like I can't even get my words out with patients and stuff like that. And I'm having more and more discomfort as she continues to grow. And so I was telling him, I was like, I just don't think I'm gonna take it. But then when I saw the letter from the board saying that the expiration date was November 30th of this year, I was like, that's like in 2 months. And I don't know if I'm going to be prepared by then. Like, I just don't feel, now I don't feel ready. I did last time I took it, but now I don't feel ready mentally because I'm having all this discomfort, and I don't want to have discomfort during the exam and that also play a part. But I don't know if I'm, and if I have to pay the fee again, it is what it is. Thankfully, I can afford it and I'll be fine. It's not gonna break me. Um, but I'll reach out to them and see if they can maybe like change the expiration date on it. I don't know how that works, and I don't know if Renita, you know how that works, but I do want to thank you guys for all of that because I truly needed to hear it.
Gabrielle, what you wanted
I'm
to say?
trying.
Everybody
Oh, wait, is it me? Y'all, I'm getting my hair washed. I'm just gonna say something really quick. If they don't extend you, I would just take it so you don't waste your money. I mean, I guess, I mean,
Ariel, you haven't paid the 260 again, right, Anel?
oh,
So she would just be $75, and she's gotten her $75 worth.
okay.
Because the
I thought she had already
$75 is for
paid.
the year. So it was 1 and 2, you get 3 chances, just for everybody to know. Once you get I need y'all to know this too, by the way, those of you who haven't, besides the ones who've taken it. You have a year after we finish to apply to the board. And I just said, go ahead and apply, even if you're not ready to take it, because we learned from Jamie, she waited to the last minute. So and I did not know this until Jamie said, and Jamie got approved, so she's good. So everything worked out. It always works out, y'all. It always works out. But you have a year after we get done with supervision. And so I try to get the paperwork to you guys within a 2-week period. And you have a year to get approved. Then you get a year from me, right? But you're going to go ahead and do it. But then once you get approved with the board, you have a year to take it 3 times. And that's where Anel is. You have a year to take it 3 times. And that $75 is what we're talking about. But the test is $260 each time. Okay. So if Anel pays $260 this third time and she's not ready, I'm saying let the 75, you already had those 2 opportunities. Let that $75 go. Just pay the $75 again. And now I love that you're going to ask, and please let me know what the board says, but they're probably just going to tell you, because the state has to make money. They're probably just going to tell you you're going to have to pay the $75 again. And so if you need 75, we got you. We will collect $75 for you to just, that would be the baby shower present the goddesses give you, right? So you won't, I don't think you'll lose out on money because you did already have these 2 opportunities. I would, if you're not feeling comfortable, $260 is a lot of money to not feel comfortable. That would be my thing. $260 is a lot of money not to feel comfortable.
I'll keep you guys updated. I'll reach out to them and keep you guys updated because yeah, I'd rather lose $75 than the 260. But I'll let you know what they say. And like I said, again, thank you so much. Cause I was praying before I even got on this call of like, Lord, what do I do? Do I take it or do I not take it? And I'm at peace at just not taking it and just focusing on my family, on my health, on my baby, and Eliza. She is so feral.
The question that I had earlier, I think I'm answering all my questions as the time goes by, but I heard you guys like specifically emphasizing like the C in LCSW, and I stopped hearing the I. So I was wondering, I was like, are you guys in a certain place where you have to, I guess, initially earn the I in the LICSW? Because I'm under the impression that Alabama automatically gives you the whole thing, LICSW. Is that correct?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
we
don't wanna
just
say all
say
that.
Okay.
yeah,
We
you
can
can
say all that every time. We're not saying that every time, though, Graham. No,
which I do
And then,
think is fairly new for Alabama.
it is.
It was LC before, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
right.
And then
And
you had
then
to
the
do
other,
PIP, I think. Okay, I'm sorry.
yes. And then the other thing was, I think it was, I don't know which person had said it, but I think it was Tenessa. She said that she had the Don Apgar book, because I really do. I like Don Apgar. That's what I had passed with when I finally read the book from cover to cover. It's the blue. I'm on Amazon right now. It's the blue book, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Okay. And then the third thing was, they're still deleting a certain number of questions out of, the per se, like the easy questions. They're still deleting the easy questions out of it, like the throwaway questions.
I think so. It's just like it's still like you might get 4, you might get 3, but I do think they still throw out, like, isn't it 20
Like
questions?
20, yeah.
170. You just don't know which ones. Hopefully it be
Ooh.
the hard ones, because I need all the easy ones to go through.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's random. So you don't know which ones are scored or unscored. Also, I did take the ASWB official practice exam. I paid my $80. I paid for it the very first time. And then I did pay for it again the second time. It just really put me in I know a lot of people like, that's crazy, but it really put me in the frame of mind of the test. The rationales was really key because it helped me understand, like, why are they asking this question and how are they asking it? So to me, that was really, really helpful.
No, Katrina, I said, oh no, because when I took it the first time, I had screenshotted that screen and printed it out, because I wasn't gonna pay for it no more.
But
But
it's
don't y'all do
only
that.
like one question per screen, ain't it?
When it came up that last time, they show you everything. I pressed screen record, and I went through each question to see what it said, and I printed it out on my printer.
Okay, yeah. Try to do that, but that it really does help. I know at Troy, when our last semester of grad school, they did give us the test. So it is the exact same test. Test not gonna change. It's the same one. I think clinical is different and master is different, but I thought it was helpful. That's why I took it twice.
And also, just FYI for everyone who probably don't know, I had to go to therapy, y'all. I got me a mental health provider because that anxiety was ridiculous. And like I said, my dad had got sick. So I had to go get me some good old mood stabilizers, because, baby, if I hadn't, y'all probably would have been trying to see me on the news or something. So, I mean, Anel, do what you got to do wholeheartedly for yourself, because one, kids is enough. These jobs is enough. You have a whole family, like a spouse. That's another job. Like, you got so many hats you trying to wear, and now you're trying to add a new baby. Girl, let that 75 go. Like Renita said, we can get to 75. You need to 75. I can
Right.
cash out you right now. But sit
That's what I
down
was gonna
and
say.
take
I was
your
gonna say,
baby and
We
have that
got you,
fun.
Anil.
be
Yeah.
anxious for nothing. When you said that,
Hello.
like you was praying before you had got up on here, I said, all right, because I was gonna say it anyway, but I didn't know what religion you was in. But definitely, God says he says, be anxious for nothing, because he has you in every situation.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that too. This time around, I was on 10. I started going. Found a new church here in Opelika. Every Sunday I was there. Every Sunday I'm opening that Bible. I'm reading plans. Like, spiritually, I was just whole. Like, I was whole, and I started therapy like 3 months postpartum, and I'd never been in therapy before, so that was something I was able to process. And that might be good for you to be able to process that failure, because I had to process that with her. Like, why am I closing my eyes and I'm seeing fail on the screen? And I took that test, 6 months ago. So that was something I did process. So shout out to Tenessa for saying that, because spiritually and like just mentally, emotionally wise, I did take care of myself this time. So just you good, girl.
And I want that to be the final word. You guys, Tenessa has said this 15 times. I don't know, I'm exaggerating, but she said it multiple times. We all know this stuff. We know this stuff. It is, how are you taking care of you? How are you taking care of you so that when there's two things I want to say. When you walk into this new level, you are so okay with where you at that the new level don't even bother you. That's what these women are saying to you, that you are so okay with where you are at. That's all our spiritual teachers have been trying to say. Get okay with where you are so that when the new level comes, you're like, oh, I've been ready for this. I don't even need to do nothing. My central nervous system is okay with this new level because I already knew. I'm so okay with where I am at. And I hope that you guys are hearing that. Get okay with where you are at so that when the new level comes, it ain't nothing. You already knew, as Tenessa's podcast episode, you already knew you were that girl, been that girl always. And now you've been that girl. You came to this country in the 3rd grade and you spoke a whole nother language. You've been that girl. You've been that girl. So you take care of the baby and then you let us know when you pass and then you come back and tell us about it. All right. All right, y'all. I love y'all so much. Tenessa, Katrina, Ariel, and Nell, thank y'all all for coming back and pouring into the goddesses tonight. This was more than I was expecting, and I'm so, so grateful for you guys. And yes, congratulations to everybody. I'm so proud of y'all. And now we can't wait to see the pictures of the new baby. All right, you guys, we'll see y'all soon. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.